Good evening. I am speaking to you as chairman of a board of governors of a corporation of which you are at once the shareholders, the debenture holders, and the patrons. I refer, of course, to the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which at midnight on Sunday last succeeded the Canadian Radio Broadcasting Commission in the control of national radio as a Canadian public service. If I were to speak idealistically, I would say that it is desire of all of us to annihilate time and space, to make as many men and women in Canada as possible quietly happy and humbly proud through the agency of this great invention, which must surely have been intended to enrich our lives by its contribution to the enjoyment of our leisure moments. First of all, therefore, we set ourselves these immediate tasks: to afford as many citizens of Canada as possible, not overlooking those in lonely and distant places, the opportunity to listen. Our next task is to use every effort in our power to see that they can listen, if they so desire, to the most acceptable programs wherever they may be presently obtainable. It is our desire to give the Canadian listeners what they want. Whatever they want, and tastes must differ, we believe that they desire the best in music, in dance, in drama, in speech, in announcement. We would be poor Canadians indeed if we did not use every effort to train, to encourage, and to use the best native talent that is anywhere available. An effort will be made to see that with that criterion ever before our eyes, the best Canadian, American, and British programs can reach Canadian listeners through Canadian stations. There is no country in the world which offers to its citizens any more infinite variety of human type and human activity than Canada does. Whenever a Canadian radio speaks within the confines of this nation or in foreign places, it is Canada calling. And I think we should all be anxious for ourselves and for our children's sakes that she calls with the accents of which we shall not be ashamed. It is hoped that the radio in Canada will be a welcome guest at your family fireside and not a skeleton in your family cupboard. We shall try to be tolerant of nothing but intolerance, and to be shackled by nothing but decency and freedom. If the radio is not a healing and reconciling force in our national life, it will have failed in its high purpose. If Canadian radio makes no lasting contribution to a better understanding between the so-called French Canadian and the so-called English Canadian, between the East and the West, between the town and the country, between those of us who are fortunate enough to enjoy the privilege of labor and those of our fellow citizens who, through no fault of their own, are denied that opportunity, then we shall have faltered in our stewardship. Mindful of these things, we will do our best to justify the trust which has been placed upon us.